Going live.
Oh, hey everyone. Great day to personal development productions. You know, I always love how we show up in life. So many times that we want so many things to do, but how do we show up? How do we get ready for our day? We were just having a conversation here, and we're talking about sometimes you start your day out early in the morning and you can just move, 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 move. And those are people who are really more morning persons. And then there are people who are, of course, they're those nighttime angels. They don't do anything until the clock says it is time, as late as it can be. Now, they may get up late, but they will stay up a whole day. You will find them still working at 3 o'clock in the morning because they are scheduled that way. But people who really start their day out early, we tend to get a lot more things done because we know that there's a pattern for us to do things. I'm the best in the morning. I may get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I know for a lot of you all that don't understand that 3 o'clock actually there is a 3 o'clock in the morning because you've never seen it on the clock, except for if you had to get up and go get that morning washroom break, between your restful sleep. But when you're getting up early, you basically can get into your plan. If you're exercising or meditating or praying or whatever it is that you're doing, you tend to start out pushing it. And you push and push and push until you fall out. You show up for calls on time. You show up for meetings on time. You show up for your kids on time. You show up the way that you want to be seen. Now, there are certain people that we know who have a great tendency to be habitually late. They
Oh,
will be the
naughty,
people,
naughty, naughty.
they're the people we refer to that will be late to their own funeral because they just can't get there early. They just don't see what that is. And why do I need to be there early? Now, me being a former first responder, I knew that it was more important for me to get to the job as soon as I could versus whenever I could be there. Whenever time permitted, kind of sort of. I show
I'll
up
make
10
my
minutes
way
late.
over.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually. But when you show up to things, how do you show up? Do you have to have your morning coffee? Do you have to have what? I'm going to switch this over to our professor, Samantha Glass. And Sam, how does it work for you? How do you show up or talk about showing up?
I'll be honest, I just show up the way that I am. Because if something's important and I know that I have something scheduled, I'll just come as I am. And sometimes that's not with makeup on or my hair done, or extra nice clothes. Because in my business, I never know. If I'm out and about for the day where I know that I'm meeting people, or I know that I may be seen by people that I associate myself with, or that I want to associate myself with, I will prepare for that. So I will dress leaving the house for success. But there are times where I just come as I am. I think it's worse not to show up, right? I think that an excuse is, oh, I just didn't put makeup on. I didn't have my coffee. I didn't do my hair. Like there's so many excuses that stand in our way that we don't show up. And everyone remembers that, right? They don't remember, oh, Samantha showed up. They remember, oh, Samantha didn't show up. And then you're kind of like pegged with that until you can show up like many times to erase the fact that you didn't show up the one time. So that's what I try to do. If I say I'm going to show up, I show up, or if I hear something, I show up. If I hear about something, I just show up. But it really comes down to, like what Lester said, those that stay up and all that. That's me. I stay up. I don't like the morning. I get up in the morning because I know that it's important. And I know the earlier you rise, the more that you have quiet time to prepare yourself for the day. But that comes at a price because I go to bed so late, because I'm talking to people in other countries late at night. For them, it's not. It's like 7, 9 a.m. Like I had people last night say to me, oh, Samantha, you're always coming in my morning. Why? I'm like, no, it's not. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning here. So we're trying to, I love social media. I love the internet. I love the fact that there are no borders when you're using the internet. But I think it's really important that everyone understands and realizes that when you're supposed to show up, just show up. Come as you are, because people will appreciate you coming as you are, or they don't even care about that. They appreciate you coming. That's the biggest thing. That is what's memorable, that you showed up. Yeah, okay. You didn't look like a celebrity, but that's okay. Don't worry. Just be there to support those that you want to associate yourself with. Off to Mamapreneur.
I like the idea of, or the topic of, how do you show up, how we show up. I think safe to say over the years, a lot of conversations, I certainly with the two of you, with our personal development shows, but also with others in different spaces is, what the heck is showing up for ourselves, for others. And I think it's fair to say that, quite often there's a struggle to even describe what it means and what it looks like to show up. And people say, well, people just do it naturally. Do they though? Because if people did it naturally, then if everyone did it naturally, then why are there so many people that are bad at it? Showing up, like Lester, you had mentioned, maybe, you're a morning person. Some people aren't morning people. Maybe you're Sam. It's just like, it doesn't matter if it's morning or night. You're just going to show up. Traditionally, I would be a PM person. Then you choose to have kids, and suddenly you're choosing to be an AM person. And it's good that those faces are so cute, because that's my reward. And now I've done in the last week 5:30. Today I did my second 5:30 AM CrossFit class. That sounds like horrible. But it may be my new thing. It really honestly may be my new thing. So it's when you show up, it turns the people that are in your space really into your people, because they come to get to know you. They can trust and rely on how you're going to show up, and how you show up one way is how you're going to show up every way. And they're going to, over time, be able to connect with that and trust that, different, I don't know, different benefits and values that can come from that relationship. They're going to trust that those are going to be there, or they might come down the road, just because of how you're showing up for yourself and in life. I like, it's that core, we even in what's up over here, but TGR, the self-evaluation questions, that self-assessment, it starts with us. So when we commit to creating a bond really, really strong with ourselves of how we choose to show up, that is going to not only maintain our integrity with ourselves, but it's going to really build incredible integrity and maintain the strength in your current relationships, and help you grow very, very strong in new relationships that you are currently making and that you are going to be making. I think it's great. Sam, you said, showing up late, and maybe you're like, I don't have all my shit together. Coming with no makeup. I mean, you said, no hair, no makeup. I'm in leftover sweat. I mean, went to class this morning. If I was meeting someone in person, I would change. But for my own kids, I changed my underwear and my tank top, but the rest is left over. And it's like, you know what? That's okay, because that's my kids in my immediate space today. That's all of my kids seeing, my 15-year-old that went to class with me, the pain of mom having her rear end handed to her in CrossFit after taking most of COVID off, all of COVID off. And the kids seeing me be true to myself, coming on here with my incredible partners. They didn't say, that's gross, Kelly, don't come on today. Samantha is up. She's growing one of the largest paralegal firms in the Toronto and GTA area, SFG Paralegal Services, and she's going to law school. She is up teaching and taking classes and studying till all hours in the morning. She got out of bed and hopped on here so we could come live. We weren't like, I don't think so, Sam. I mean, that's just it. Lester, he's been up walking and doing your health is your wealth, and really there's a lot that comes along with that for miles and miles since I think 3:00 this morning. So in his time, but yet here he is. So, how you show up. I really love this conversation. It's not easy. It doesn't just happen. It takes commitment, it takes intentionality, it takes effort, and it takes practice. And then it becomes inherent. And I love that.
Imagine you sit up there with us and we decided that we didn't want to show up anymore. Imagine we didn't want to show up. You have your business. You have whatever business that it is, be it if you're working for someone or you working for yourself, working for someone. You have to show up. If we don't show up, this program goes. We were in a different program recently and we went on a hiatus for a short time to begin this group, our personal development productions. We had to leave that other group and show up here because we knew the importance of when we stopped showing up, when people weren't changing their lives, because if you don't show up for change, change will never come. You find yourself stagnant, doing the same thing the same way because you don't show up differently. You have to begin what that is. If you're a coffee drinker, tea drinker, as our friend Michael would say, and you start your day out, what does it look like? Some of us start our day out with the most beautiful affirmations, and some start out with a bad one. Some people says, I am the king and queens of my day. Some people start out with their affirmations, I just can't do it no more. And do it. They start sitting up in their mind how they're not going to show up, how they're not going to be that person that does something spectacular. I remember recently listening to the people who have gone up into space, and folks are looking at them and they're so upset because they decided to spend their money the way that they wanted to spend it and go up in space. Now, however that they did that, they changed the world by going up into a different place. They showed up in space because they knew they could, and they had further plans that didn't let you in on. You're not going to always be able to let people in on what you're doing. Napoleon Hill once said that you show them first and then you tell them. You show up to do what it is that you want to do, and then you will let the world know. There are going to be times that it's going to be hard to let that bed go, let that doubt go, let that fear go. But when you show up to fight that fear, to doubt that doubt, to jump up out of bed, you change how people see you. Your reputation goes before you. That's why they say show up. If everybody knows that you're going to have a program, it's going to start at 12 and you like to get there at 3, how many people you think are going to want to stay there? How many people have you ever seen, you knew that they were going to get married that particular day? They told you what time to get there, and their wedding vows didn't take place for hours later. Or you go to a dinner party and you're looking for the speaker and the speaker does not show up. Could you imagine? I remember the first time that I had to speak in front of an audience. This was at a book signing for me. Imagine if I don't show. I never showed up. So people turn around and says, he accepts this award, on behalf of such and such and such and such. If I show up, I can command the room. If I'm not there, I command nothing. To go ahead, so
That's
right on
100.
to you.
Oh, absolutely. Everything you're saying is I'm aligned with that because it's true. You need to be a person that stands by their word, right? You need to be a person that stands by their word. If you don't stand by your word, then nobody will trust you. And that's the biggest thing. So I think there isn't more to say than that because I've seen it. People are not trusted. They're not reliable. If they tell you one thing just to make you feel good, oh, I'm going to do that for you tomorrow. And then they just never end up doing it. Those are the people I cut out because they're just, I don't need you to tell me you're going to do something to please me. I need you to tell me you're going to do something because you're actually going to do it.
Yeah, not
That's it.
talking visions.
Yeah. Don't talk into the air.
Or yeah.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, no, I this is just something we could have, all of our topics, we could have like year-long shows on. Wouldn't it? It's coming. I'm just kidding to all of you. That'd be amazing in a few different ways, but it's the journey to showing up. I think it's a good get to know yourself process because you're making decisions and expressing ways that you want to be devoted to yourself. And that's important. And it really goes back to, we all started this breaking down. We all started, meaning Lester and Samantha and myself. We started this breaking apart Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and acknowledging how important it is. Our internal thoughts, our out loud thoughts, how we talk, our meditations, our mantras, our go-tos, all of these things that are involved with self-care. It's like building and creating a little encyclopedia, a living encyclopedia of ourselves. And, I've heard some other people describe it as a scrapbook of your soul, which I think is pretty interesting. But it is. It's a great way to stay. When you choose to show up as your truest version of yourself, it's a great way to, if you're really and have a lot going on, I think it's a great way to stay grounded, because what priorities you're going to adhere to and you're going to keep, because you're so committed to that. So you can have a whole whirlwind of fantastic collaborations and activities and launches and everything going on, but you're going to stay grounded, because those little habits that you have put in place are going to be can be used as a nice little reminder of who you are. And that the world will connect with you. They know you for how you show up, and it's just a reiteration of who you are. It strengthens. I don't know. I would love for you, Lester and Samantha. I think it's also a great way. We're confident individuals. I know that confidence is not always something that is very easy for a lot of people. Samantha, you've even talked about that, but this would even be, I'd go as far as say this is a step when you choose to show up powerfully as the truest version of yourself. That will build confidence, because you can't BS yourself when you commit to yourself.
I love what you said. I want to add something here, because you talk about confidence, and it's true. Showing up is the hardest thing. You're right. And it does build confidence. And I was just thinking about a conversation I had yesterday about my students. And this is the biggest thing that they lack, is confidence. And it's not about confidence with the skills that they're learning. It's the confidence to put themselves out there, to show up. That, I think, it's up there with public speaking, right? It's one of those ones like, oh gosh, I'm going to show up. I'm some new person that nobody knows and they're going to judge me. And this is the things that I kind of see in the background when I think of what happened when I was new. So I just say, showing up is up there. And if you have to push yourself to do it, you just have to show up no matter what's going to happen. But to set these things in your mind that I'm going to show up and all these negative things are going to happen, and create a fear that doesn't exist, that's where we have an issue. So I think the biggest thing is just push yourself to show up. That's it. Just show up. Whatever way you are, whatever level of confidence you're at, show up, because you showing up is going to be the difference between you succeeding and not. And that's really what it's about.
So my final thought of the day is show up, follow your dreams, be hungry enough to go after those things that you really want, and show up to get them. You are a champion. Let's see your championship. Next.
Okay, back to me. So I will say that courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen, no matter what version of ourselves that is.
Entrepreneur.
I
would say show up in every moment like you're meant to be there.
Because you are.
That's right. Yeah.
You are. A final thought. If you think showing up is not important, Be there when the other person doesn't show up.
Oh,
No.
I
Mic
felt
drop.
that,
This
Lester.
is where we bow
I was
out.
like,
Hey, that's tomorrow's. We're gonna dive into that tomorrow.
Although we
That's
never know when tomorrow may be.
tomorrow. So if you're, that's okay, because if you're watching, it will be your tomorrow.
Oh,
Yes.
make sure that you all drop in the comment line what showing up means to you and how showing up is important. So make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that you hit our, personal development productions, hit our like, share this video with others, comment. We really love to deep dive into your comment. We want to see what you're thinking. Be a part of us. We're not just doing this just because we like showing up. We want you to be a part of this. So make sure that you hit the subscription bell. Make sure that you like us, share this, and join us. That's it.